So I'm thinking about starting a new segment on my channel called What's in the Amazon Box? Specifically Amazon Prime Box. Just kidding, I'm not really gonna start a segment. But what I do want to show you is what is in this box. As you can tell, I ordered some stuff off of Amazon, which I happen to order a lot of stuff off of Amazon. And in this box are some of the lights for the garage, which we're in. So what you're looking at here are 4 each. There's 4 of these in each box. Not a very big box. Recessed down light. Now don't quote me on these numbers, but a can, right, one of these is roughly $7. Now it varies from different, you know, a 4-inch to a 6-inch and insulated, non-insulation, but just work with me here, roughly $7. For a conventional style one that a light bulb screws into. Now you can go buy the really cheap standard old light bulbs, you know, the incandescent ones like everybody's used to using, or you can upgrade to LED, which is what I recommend and I really like. Now, let me grab one of those real quick. This is a new style LED light bulb. It's a big old white housing, right? This happens to be a Cree. Can you see that? Ooh, is it focusing? Anyway, Cree 100 watt LED light bulb. Now I was using these on the outside of the garage and I went and bought this one by itself, and this was 15 bucks for this one light bulb. Now this is gonna last about 1,000 times longer. Once again, don't quote me on that. But I like these better, they put out really nice light, so that's what I plan on putting in. So when I priced out a conventional 16 conventional LED light bulb similar to this, probably like 80 watt, plus the little white covers that you have to, the white sconce covers I think is what they're called, that you have to install over your light can. All right, so this mounts in the ceiling. You put your light bulb in there and then you put that little white ring or tan ring or whatever color ring you want over this so it makes it look, the trim ring makes it look pretty. Those rings are anywhere from $7 to $50. I mean, there's some really fancy ones, really pretty. I don't need those for my garage, but. So when you price out the light bulb plus the ring, you're 15, well, I'll just say 10 for the light bulb, and we'll say, I kind of went in the middle of the row, we'll say 10 for, that's $20. Well, I ordered 18, excuse me, I have 2 extra, because they come in packs of 4. Wait a minute, no I don't, I have 16. I ordered all 16 of these for $120. And these not only come with the retrofit kit attached, and I'm probably getting a call from my wife right now. Look at that. So I am. So I'm gonna pause you guys and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so back to what I was saying. These come in a box of 4 on Amazon. The white ring is already installed. The bulb is part of the housing. And in my case, I just unplug this adapter and I throw this away. Now, I probably won't throw this away because I've never installed these before. I never needed this, but you never know. In the future, for some random reason, I might need to do this, or I could help somebody out if they ordered the wrong thing. You never know. I'll end up keeping these in my random electrical section that I have. But in my case, I'm just going to install this. It comes with the springs, comes with the housing, nice in one unit. You're not screwing around with trying to paint that ring that shows up sometimes with these. This is all nice and sealed, and it's ready to be installed. Well, as you saw, I just installed all 8 of the lights into the cans. That was really, really easy, and they go in very, very well. I kind of like the plug connector seems to work pretty good. Yeah. I wanted to point out a couple of things about plugs real quick. Some basic stuff that really isn't so basic, actually. It's surprising to me. And then see this one on the left, how it looks like a T, like a T that way? That is for 20 amps. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what's that T for? There are special plugs on some very unique appliances and tools that actually have a plug that looks like that. I have never seen, I'm 30 years old, and I have never, ever, ever, ever in my entire life actually seen the plug in real life, in person, that fits into this T slot. They all fit into here, this standard slot. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this one, along with a standard plug. This is a 20 amp plug. The beauty about GFCI in a circuit is these will be side by side in a double gang box. And like I said, see the T slot? That means it's a 20 amp plug. So these two are gonna go side by side. Doesn't matter, they're different manufacturers. Everything after this plug-in in the circuit will be GFCI protected because it is in series with this plug-in. Kind of a neat feature. One thing I want to point out, these GFCI plugins, most of the brands will come with a yellow sticker on them. This yellow sticker is covering the terminals that go from the plug to the next plug. That's very important that it be wired correctly so that the line coming in will then feed the load going out, right? Line in, load out. Load goes to the next plug. So these little jumpers I'm making over here will go from the load into the line coming into the next plug, and then the load, which will be these, will come out of the next plug and go down the line. It's very important. I don't take this yellow sticker off until I have plugged in the line wires into the plug so I don't get them confused. If you wire this backwards, you will not be GFCI protected. And if this is not the first plug in the series, you won't be GFCI protected down the line either. It's very important you follow and read and understand very clearly the instructions on how these work so that you wire them correctly. It's very, very important that these be installed properly in order for them to do what they're meant to do. Read instructions prior to wiring. Like I said, understand what you're doing before you do it. Don't blame me if you do it wrong. But now this plug will now protect this plug and every plug down line from it. Well, I am to the point where I need to install the couple of cables. So I skipped one important step. Before you take this cover panel off, you should really turn off the power, which makes it kind of dark and hard for you guys to see, which is why I hadn't done it yet. I am going to put my headlamp on here. Alright. So, what we've got here is a 100 amp service. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. We'll snap one of these little push grommets. You can just snap into the top. Okay, I'm back. I can turn my light off here. What's funny is my camera battery died, and I realized when I was changing out the camera battery that I actually have a giant light on top of my camera. I should just turn that on, which gives me plenty of light instead of using my headlamp. Sorry. So anyway, so Square D, these guys, that's a Square D panel behind me. This is a Square D breaker, and this is a double gang breaker, right? So it's got 2 switches on it. In this case, they're 2 15 amps. Now there's lots of different variations of these. I like the double gangs because it saves room in your panel. I'm not really gonna go into detail on this. Just know that these save room, and if you're trying to save room, use these. I put them in from the get-go when I'm doing new wiring. I have a ton of space in that panel. That's only a 100 amp panel. I'll never fill that panel up, but who knows, someday I might put a 200 amp service. I may have to change out the main power supply and turn this into a 200 amp service because of welding. And if I do that, having extra space to put those big 30 and 40 and 50, 60 amp breakers in might be necessary. So I'm just putting double gangs in now to save hassle later on. Okay, so a couple things that I didn't pay as close attention to as I should have. This panel is a Square D panel, and anybody that's gone to a breaker section in any store, Depot or Lowe's or really anywhere, knows that there's a gazillion different types of breakers, different brands, different styles, different amps, different ratings. I've got the TYPO breakers in here, which are the type. So there's Square D is the brand and TYPO is the type of breaker. And Square D makes several other types of breakers that don't work in this panel. So in any case, these breakers work in this panel, and I'm going to go ahead and wire these up so I have lights in here. I can turn this back on. My pump for my well will work also. So this is a double gang breaker, and I just hooked up the ground, the neutral, and the hot supply line. I'll put some staples in here in a few minutes. I need to go pick up a different breaker for this. The 20 amp breaker I have won't work in here. It's a TIPO type breaker instead of a TYPO type breaker. So I have to go down and switch those out. I got a bunch of stuff I have to return anyway, so I'll go ahead and take care of that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you guys off and put some staples in and get the lights up and running at least. I got the new 3 gang box, right? 1, 2, 3, instead of this 2 gang, because I have this extra light switch that I need to put in this box. This is because I decided to run the lights on 2 separate switches instead of 1. And I turned the breakers off already. So all this stuff is dead, which is good. Just a little double check. So I'm going to tear this box apart, pull these switches out, install this new box, put some new different types of switches in, and get this all wired up so that the switches work. I'm kind of fighting the clock here. The garage door guys are on their way to finish installing the garage doors, so let's get started. I went down and got the right breaker.
So the reason I'm being really quiet right here is because the garage doors guys were actually in the garage installing the garage doors as I was doing this. And it felt kind of funny to be talking to a camera when they were behind me working and they'd never really been around somebody recording a YouTube video before. I did explain to them what I was doing, but it still felt kind of awkward. In any case, there'll be a video shortly to show you what the garage doors look like and how the install went. But the rest of this video shows how I finished up the electrical panel, got it all wired up, and I get the cover panel installed here in a second. And I ended up calling for my inspection here in about 4 days. It's the soonest they could come out. So it should be all done and good to go.